couple things that I really want to say, and I'm glad to be here because, like a lot of you, I've been here a long time. And I can tell you that where we were and where we are today, since we've become a city, is an amazing transformation. I don't think most people know that in the state of California, we are the go-to city. Other cities come and ask how we have done the projects, how we have beautified, how we've made the changes. We are a great place to live, and we do have people raising their families, and guess what? Their kids and grandkids don't want to leave. They want to stay right here. They love it. We're a hometown. We're almost like transplanted out of back east, and we have become the place everybody wants to be. We are serving to keep our precious quality of life. It is a very unique thing, what we have here. My highest priority for you, is to keep you safe. We are one of the safest cities in the United States, and I intend to help keep that. We now have almost 10,000 acres of publicly owned open space. None of that can ever be built on. It can't be taken away from you or your children or your grandchildren. It's there forever. All of that land could have been built on. It is protecting us and our futures, keeping our air clean, and is keeping our water more plentiful. We are expanding our parks, and we're improving our 85 miles of trail system. I'm glad thank you, Scott, for asking about the trails also. And so life in Santa Clarita keeps getting better, and we are considered one of the very best places in America. We can do more. We can always do more. We're improving traffic, and we're expanding our road network, and that is critical. It's important because we all are frustrated with traffic, including my family. We're going to be building Via Princesa. That is a major connection from Canyon Country all the way across to the I-5, connecting up with Wiley. We are working to improve our transportation options. Marcia works on the train things all the time. Just this month, $47 million was improved to enhance and make the I-5 corridor safer and open up that blockade where all the traffic is congested. We've got a new truck lane coming that will protect us driving along the 5 from the big rigs, and we will also have a OHV lane. We are working with the county, the state, and the federal, and partnering with dollars. That is how we do so much of what we do. We partner. We even partner with schools and colleges. We're building a new $47 million sheriff's station. It is state-of-the-art, and it will serve our men and women in Sheriff's Department to keep us safe and to allow them to do their job. We're building a $40 million community center just down the street. I don't know if any of you have noticed that, but it's already much prettier there, and it's going to be the highlight of Canyon Country. We also had the Girl Scouts move in across the street from that. Why? There's 300 Girl Scout troops, and they like the fact that there's going to be an amazing community center there, and they're going there, and I'm sure the girls will be eating pizza as well.
Time's up. Thank you. Your time. Now we're going to questions.
Thank you. Good.
Hi,
Are we going to get to do a wrap-up at all?
Yes, you do.
All right, good.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm with the Santa Clarita Gazette. I was just wondering, you've repeatedly denied that you stand to gain nothing from the Lion-Stockweiler extension, yet the perception persists. What definitive, tangible proof can you offer to put those naysayers to rest?
Well, I think that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked. It gets it right off the table. When I got my place, I moved on a ranch, and I wanted to be there because I had horses, which I still have 6, and I rescue dogs and cats, and I have a shelter, which I'm licensed by the county. So, next to me is a city-owned road right-of-way, and they've had it from the county, and it was apparently taken in the 1960s, and the city inherited it, and they have it, and they'll use it when they're ready to use it. Like a lot of road easements in this valley, sit there for decades. I don't get anything for it, and why would the city pay me anything for something they already own? Hello, my dear.
Hello. Since nobody is willing to answer any of my questions,
well, I'll try.
Why is there nothing to do, really, for young adults or adults? I mean, there are no clubs here. There are no concert places. There is nothing for young adults or adults. I mean, some people might be of senior age, but they don't want to go to the senior community center.
Well, Elaine, that's a good question. We've heard the kids, the teenagers, all say they have nothing to do. Okay, so we've put in parks and community centers, and we've got movie theaters, and Lemley's coming, and I've asked to even do a roller skating rink so that they would have some place to hang out with the food trucks and date where we could observe. And what the younger people in this valley are doing now is they have picked up on going to Old Town Newhall, and they're down there by 4,000 and 5,000 of them at census, and they're using the arts district, and the restaurants are booming, and they've got little wine tasting areas, and they are dating and visiting and dancing in the street and having a really good time in Newhall. So I'm glad to see that, but if we can do more, we have a corridor plan for Lyons Avenue, and we have a corridor plan for the entire Canyon Country Corridor. So we can do more, but believe me, they're not sitting home bored.
But there really isn't anything to do, and there's so much
That's your
in
question.
the arts here as far as acting, yet none of the people, there's nobody else.
There is
Do we have
someone
anybody
standing
else?
back.
There you go.
Sorry.
I've asked the other two the same question about term limits and districts. What is your opinion?
I remember what you asked. I think that's a really good question. So since you've asked that, let's talk about who we are, and where we want to go. The City Formation Committee worked for almost 2 years studying forms of government. They didn't want Santa Clarita politicized. They wanted it to serve everybody. They did not want to have districts in the sense that LA does, because people fight, well, you got that in your district, I don't want that. They also didn't want a scenario like what we have with the Board of Supervisors. Our supervisor will say, no, you can't put CMEX mine in, and the other 4 supervisors voted for it, and we've been fighting it for 15 years. That is what happens with districts, because the districts that get the ability to vote to put something in another district, they don't have to deal with the issue. So the city formation did not want that. They wanted all of the council members to be equally responsible to every single citizen, so that if one wasn't doing it, you had others to go to. That doesn't happen with districts. So I thought they were very wise in their decision. If the city constituency wants it different and wants to be like some of these other cities, and by the way, many of them are extremely in failure. They do not have balanced budgets, and they do not have reserves. But if we want to examine that, we can, and the citizens will decide.
Hello again. Okay, there's a perception that the council members have made up their minds on an issue before they go into the chambers and listen to public comment. We've heard this regarding the Lemley Theater Project, the Lyons-Stockweiler Extension, the Cannabis Dispensary Homeless Action Plan, and the Sanctuary City Question. Is it true, on average, how much time do you spend reading staff reports, and do you read independent reviews and reviews of issues?
Oh my God, that's a good question. Well, I got a headache right now. I'm reading constantly because we get about this much every week, and then we get all the things from you. And no, the council does not make up their mind ahead of time. There's a lot of discussion, and quite often the council will totally hold something over to think about it, or they ask a lot of questions. We have a good constituency. They bring things up, and we try to work through it. And if we can't get you where you want to be, where it's comfortable, we continue until we do. Elaine.
What about voter indebtedness?
Now, Elaine, are you talking about where we would get bonds so that we could produce housing? Because we don't build housing.
No. Voter indebtedness is bond issues that have been passed, but in the city of Los Angeles, there are exemptions for seniors, like so that they don't have to pay for the bond issues for elementary schools or high schools or whatever.
I'm glad you said that. You know, I just have to tell you, I'm a big senior advocate, and I've worked really hard on creating this new senior center. I worked really hard. I was 7 years on the old senior center board. So here's my opinion. We're doing a lot of bonded indebtedness in this state. It's ridiculous. We're doing everything by initiative. We're doing everything by bonds. Who's paying that back? We are. I think a lot of people think, well, it's bond, it's not my money, it's somebody. But it's our money. And I agree with you. Seniors cannot afford all of this. They cannot afford it. And it is not fair. So, yeah, I believe that seniors should be exempt from a lot of things because they should have a break cut. They've served their country. They've worked all their life. They've given and given and given, and now they're tired and they can't do more. So they may not have kids in school. This is my personal opinion. It is not a total council opinion. But yeah, I have a lot of understanding for how that feels.
So how do we get it?
Well, it's a good discussion to have, and we can have that discussion about what we can do. Remember, we're a general law city. We have city manager form of government, and we're under LA County. So everything that we want to do is interacted by what the constraints of law are, what the state will allow us to do. So yeah,
The state allows it, the county
Okay,
allows
that's
it.
right.
It's up to the city. So what do we do?
Well, you've asked the question. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Just keep going here. The council's average age is 68, but take away Cameron Smythe, and it's 70.
Slow down.
Oh, I'm just trying to make the time. Sorry.
Yeah, I know, but
Okay.
I got to understand you.
I know. The council's average age is 68, but take away Cameron Smythe, and it's 73.75. You'll be 70 on Election Day. Happy
Yeah,
birthday.
I'm good.
I quote Bob Keller, "Are we supposed to stay on the city council until we're 90 years old? What do you say to those who believe it's time for a new generation?"
Well, it is time for, and we will, Bob's going off, and I'm still roller skating, riding my horses, and I water ski. So I'm having a heck of a good time. I think you should go off if you are not well, and I don't care what that age is. I think you should not be there if you can't do the workload. I personally think in America, you don't start judging people by their age. But I'm very proud to be my age, which is 69. I'm thrilled that I can do actually more probably than I used to because I'm not sedentary. And I'm proud to be the age I am, and I'm proud to work with people that have knowledge and compassion and have learned a lot through having life experiences. And I love working with Cameron, and I'm sure we will get some other great young people.
Well, good evening. I'm Joan.
Hi, Joan.
Hi. You know that I'm very involved in water.
Yes, ma'am.
But before I say that, I want to say years ago in our retail business, I was able to meet your father. And he came into our store, your father, and that was quite an honor. Yes.
Who? Oh, my dad.
Yes,
my dad.
Your
Okay.
father.
I was trying to hear you, Joan.
Anyway, what I'm concerned about is years ago, the city made a deal with the Castaic Lake Water Agency at that time, and they put in the purple pipes for recycled water.
Yes.
And they had an agreement, and they were using the potable water, and they've been using that now all these years. I mean, it's about 17 or 18 years. They're just finally maybe going to supply recycled water for the park, the Central Park.
Excellent question,
So
Joan.
I want to know, what can you do to speed up that
Okay.
process?
We're good. I got her question. Okay, Joan, most of the recycled water is going to come from Sanitation District Plant 26 and 32. We're putting 18 to 20 million gallons of water into the river every single day, and that's everything from our homes. It is tertiary treated, so literally you could drink it, but I don't want you to. I don't want you to drink it, but it's going into the river, and up till 1962, there was nothing like that because there were no plants, and there was no water going in the river from houses because everything was on septic. We're converting the water treatment from chlorines and chloramines to ultraviolet, and that is to stop the conversion by sunlight on those chemicals to things like haloacetic acid and trihalomethanes. Well, in the process of doing all that, we asked to take 7 million gallons of the 20 million gallons a day and use it for recycled water. Because all that purple pipe's out there, and it would really be great. We could do the park, and we could do the medians, and we could do golf courses. Well, we have a lawsuit against us because they did under CCAC. They said, well, we don't think you should have the water. We want Fish and Game to tell you how much water to take because it could affect the fish. Well, the fish didn't have any water from our homes up until 1962, and I think 20 million is a lot for the fish. But the bottom line is there is a litigation. There is a judge ruling that until Fish and Game says you can take a certain amount of water, we cannot touch it.
Time.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Ed.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good, except
You look
that
good.
we couldn't cover what this water issue if we stayed here till midnight.
No, we couldn't. So thank you. Let's just narrow it down.
What I want the city to know and find out what you can do about it is that anyone that leased that property before the city leased it were farmers, and they were allowed to use this well on that property.
Are you talking about Central Park?
In Central Park, the well is there. It could be pumped into the purple pipes. It would not cost the money that recycled water does. And I'd like to see the city to investigate condemnation for a better service, for a better benefit for that well, because the $100 a month electric bill won't be like the $1,000 per acre foot that you've been paying for 12 years. This is a money bank for the water agency, and we pressure them in their meetings, and they don't budge. The city needs to take the reins and see about using well water, not recycled water.
On the park.
Right. Right.
Well, we know that recycled water will be coming to the park as soon as Fish and Game makes up their mind, but we will look into the well for you. Okay? Thank you.
Did you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
Elaine will get me next.
Julissa Basman. My question has to do with the arts. How will you or the City Council support the county's cultural equity and initiative for the arts? That's this was I think approved last year in the county of LA, and it has to do with providing arts or making it accessible to all.
Well, I like that.
Thank you.
Up with the arts. We have an arts master plan. We have created many partnerships now. We have partnership with COC. We have the Maine on Old Town Newhall. We're working through getting arts in the school. We are now partnering with the Newhall Family Theater. They're doing massive art programs with kids, and it's now open to the public for use. Personally, I think art should be in everyone's life, and with our Arts Master Plan, we are starting to blossom and create opportunities through the arts all over the city. So you're going to see a lot more art in the future, and you're going to see a lot more cultural experience in your valley. You should be able to have that here. We are a very, very, very skilled community, so you should be able to have that here, and you're going to see that. Elaine.
I guess it would be his question about Proposition 10 as far as rent control. How do you feel about it?
All right, Elaine, I think, my heart says I would like to make it better. I do agree with one thing Marcia said. We've got to stop bonding everything in the planet that we don't need. How many billions are we spending on high-speed rail that's never going to do anything for us? And the public voted for it. And that is a tragedy, because I don't think they knew what they were voting for, or what they voted for is not what they're getting. But here's what happens when you enact total control of a business, the business goes away. And all of the people that build units or operate units, including the mom and pops, the minute you're completely controlling that, you will not see more units built, and you will see disintegration and degradation in real estate. They will not invest back in, and the properties will decrease in value. So I have real concern with it, and we'll see what happens. But I do know there'll be an exodus of units. And my time is up.
Okay, well, then let's give Laurene a big hand. Hang on right there.
Great. Well, the first thing I'm going to address is the BMX track, because I'm really excited about anything that's sports and recreation, because I did your trails, and I did your open space, and I've done 34 parks, and we're going to do some more. The thing is, we already have a BMX track identified. It's right next to the sports complex where we have the activity center and the Olympic pools, and it's on acreage there, but that's partly an ancient landslide. Same problem that's kind of holding up that end of Via Princesa. So the engineering is being done to design Via Princesa to get it to Golden Valley, and then it'll go from Golden Valley down to Wiley as soon as we get done with DTSC. So that BMX track is slated for that, and we are very much, we've already set aside the land for it. Now, it would be kind of silly to have all that planning and all that work and already the land in place, and then try to do it 1 in 12 months somewhere else. I don't know that we'll get done, Scott, or anybody, in 12 months for BMX, but we sure wish we could. The second thing is about putting things on the agenda. This is a general-less city. It is a city manager form of government. It has a great staff. Any one of us can put things on the agenda, but we have to go talk to the city manager about the pipeline. And I think Sandra made a good point. You don't want to keep working backwards and bringing things up that either one, you have already tried to resolve and can't, or two, that have been resolved, you don't want to keep redoing things. Because we have 220,000 people that really want stuff done, and they want to keep things moving forward. If it's something really important, it will be on agenda. And if you really feel that it's something that needs to be done, you need to come talk to us. And then we will talk to the city manager, because he actually is the guy that runs the city. We are policymakers. So I hope that answers it. Did I answer the questions? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do. I just want to say we have strong intervention plans and programs for drugs. Drugs is probably one of the most critical problems that we have in this valley. Roads can be built. Safety can be assured with more law enforcement. We can build more trails. We can buy more open space. What I can't do is fix lives when people are destroying their lives with drugs. So we have to protect you and the citizens with more drug aversion. We have to expand. We have heroin kills. We have the J-Team, and we have Defy SCV in the schools. It's not enough. There needs to be more. It's killing our country. Opioid crisis is killing our country, and we all know it. So we have a balanced budget. We have great reserves, and I want to tell you we're on a 10-year plan for having our pensions fully funded. We're in that plan. We worked with our employees. We do not have a big pension fear because we are in that 10-year plan to resolve it. And we work with the EDC and the Chamber to bring good jobs. As a matter of fact, our unemployment is so low, our people are being hired from outside the valley, and they're driving in because they can't find enough people in the valley to fill the jobs. And that's a really good switch from the Great Recession, I think. But we are continuing to work to bring more jobs. We are rich in history. We are culturally a beautiful community, and we have a great senior population, and we do need to do more work for our seniors. We're doing that with the Senior Center. I just want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, America's got a lot of broken stuff, and I don't have all the answers. And I'm glad to hear what you have to say about a lot of it. We need tiny houses. Do you know that it takes $85,000 for any developer fees to pay before he can build one stick? $85,000 in fees in this state. That's a tough thing to meet.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you all.